Greetings, this is Forrest Woolman back here at the Electric Bike Report, and today I'm here to talk about the Troxus Lynx, a rugged moped-style electric bike that almost anyone can hop on and ride, featuring the step-through frame, the fat tires, and quick release to adjust the seat to your liking so you're at the right height for pedaling. And oh yeah, it's also got a rear rack for holding cargo, and you can mount a seat on it. The Lynx is an ideal e-bike to take you just about anywhere: school, work, running errands, or fun weekend outings. So stay tuned here at the Electric Bike Report channel as we cover many of the details about this e-bike, including how well it did in our performance tests, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff, so you can see if this is the e-bike for you. Now, before I begin, please take a moment to consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell on your screen. Doing so helps support the channel, which enables us to bring in more bikes to test and review, and it will let you know of any future videos we post featuring more e-bike content that you will like. Now, the Lynx is a Class 3 e-bike with a throttle that helps you take off quickly up to 20 miles per hour and pedal assistance that engages the motor swiftly with your pedaling, helping you get to a top speed of 28 miles per hour. This bike is cool looking. It's a moped style and it's multi-purpose. And this is something almost anybody can hop on and ride. Really easy to ride. One of the great features is the quick release right here. It adjusts the seat and it gives the pedaler the right height for optimum pedaling. The Lynx is one of the few e-bikes in the style that has an adjustable seat. Most of the other brands have stationary seats, like a motorcycle seat has. And that really prevents riders taller than around 5'5" from being able to actively pedal due to the cramping in the hips because they're sitting so low. But no worries with the Lynx. I'm 6 feet tall and I had a blast pedaling this bike around for hours. The Lynx seat height can be adjusted to accommodate riders as low as 4'10" and as high as 6'4". So this bike has what it takes. This bike also has a powerful 750 watt motor, a 20 amp hour battery for long distances, suspension for absorbing the bumps, and mechanical disc brake for safe stops. So combined with the simple cockpit design, the Lynx is easy to operate, easy to control, and is a great e-bike for riders of any skill level to have an enjoyable ride. The BMX-style handlebar gives the Lynx kind of that trail bike look. And I had a chance to ride this over 25 miles on dirt trails, by the way, before doing this video. This bike looks tough because it is tough, and it rides easy and smooth. In my 50 miles of riding this bike on the road, I found that this bike is good for beginners or novice riders because the fat tires offer great control, and the upright position and handlebar reach for the rider makes it a comfortable bike to ride long distances. And I really like the top speed too, but more on that in a little bit. So I've covered a few things here about this bike, but next up, let's talk about the key specs on what this bike is all about. Now, the Troxus Lynx has a nice package of features and components. The motor will help you up to 20 miles per hour using the throttle or with the 5-level pedal assist. This motor is 750 watts and has great acceleration from a dead stop and enough torque to help you up and over hills. These 20-inch by 4-inch Kenda tires provide great handling and control and can help you feel more confident as you're riding this thing down the road. Providing better than expected stopping power are the Tektro M280 mechanical disc brakes with 180mm rotors. The drivetrain features Shimano Altus 7-speed shifter with a 14 to 28 tooth cassette and the 46 tooth chainring. It's got a shortened crank down to 165 millimeters, and that works good in reducing the risk of jamming the pedal into the ground and also helps reduce some of the ghost pedaling. Now, softening the bumps with these Kenda tires are the suspension forks that provide 70 millimeters of wheel travel. The layout and design makes this an easy bike for anybody to hop on and ride. Equipped with the 20 amp hour battery, this bike can take you up to 60 miles between charges, giving you a lot of room for fun and good times. And if you get tired from pedaling, the left thumb throttle switch will get you to where you need to go. With ergonomics that welcome riders of all sizes, the seat is comfy, handlebars easy to reach, and all the controls are easy to understand and utilize. So whether you're a young person exploring e-bikes for the first time, or maybe a more seasoned person who hasn't been on a bike in a while, you're sure to feel at home on the Lynx. Add in the optional basket to the rear rack and you have a great bike for carrying groceries. The Lynx rugged look is supported by its rugged performance. We tested this bike off-road on the desert, on dirt trails, and this bike proved it can take whatever we delivered to it. The multi-terrain feature means you can use this bike to commute, you could run errands, and you can have fun on the weekend. A lot that you can do with this bike. So including the battery, the weight of this bike is 76 pounds, a little bit heavy, but it can carry a rider and cargo of up to 330 pounds, which is really nice. In our performance test, this bike really showed us what it had. It has the power, it has stopping ability, it has handling and hill climbing gusto. It can give you a good ride. It gave me a good ride. This gives you pretty much a good overview of the bike and the specification. Let's take a look at how this bike did in our performance tests. So e-bikes like this Troxus Lynx, it can move pretty fast. And so we like to make sure that the braking can stop the bike quickly and keep the rider safe. And we accelerate the bike up to 20 miles per hour on our course, and we hit the brakes quickly while maintaining control of the bike in a way that's similar to how you, the rider, would. We then measure the distance of how long it took for the bike to stop. We do this at least 3 times, and then we calculate an average stopping distance. Now the average stopping distance for the Lynx was astonishingly good considering the mechanical brakes, 18 feet and 5 inches. This surprised us because, like I said, it's got mechanical disc brakes and usually they don't perform as well as hydraulic brakes. The average stopping distance for most of the e-bikes we test is between 20 and 22 feet, so to give you some perspective on that. One thing we found about the brakes after close to 200 miles of test rides, we never felt the brakes go soft. Whether we're doing stop and goes or cruising down the hill, the brakes really aptly controlled our slowing and stopping. We'd like to see Troxus offer this bike with hydraulic brakes eventually though, because the benefits still outweigh the higher price. We'll see. On the bright side, mechanical brake cables are cheaper and easier to maintain and replace than hydraulic brakes and easier to service overall. Now, all in all, the Lynx has good stopping power with the brakes it has, and we were still impressed. So in order to gain a better sense of motor engagement, we put all bikes we review on what we call circuit test. Circuit test is a course that's a 1 mile loop, 4 right turns, and it has a small 30-foot climb. We do multiple laps on the course, starting with the first lap and no motor assistance, and then 1 lap for each PAS level. This bike has 5, so we did 6 laps total. With this, we can see the speed profile of the bike and get a sense of how well the motor engages with the rider. The circuit test results are listed on the screen above for you to look at. Our main takeaway, well, the Lynx motor engaged really well with our pedaling. Beginning in PAS 1 at 12 miles per hour, the motor consistently increased in speed at about 2 miles per hour per increment until reaching PAS 4 at around 18 miles per hour. I was in for a bit of a surprise though the first time I clicked into PAS 5. That's when the Lynx really bolted ahead from 18 miles per hour to 26 miles per hour. Now, we'd like to see Troxus ship the Lynx as a Class 2 e-bike instead of a Class 3 because of that speed factor, with an option for the owner to change it to a Class 3 e-bike. There is a way you can set this Lynx as a Class 2 e-bike, the way it's delivered as is, limiting its top speed to 20 miles per hour. You'll want to consider that in case you plan to ride this in areas that don't allow Class 3 bikes, or if you're buying this bike for an inexperienced rider and you want to just keep him or her more safe. But our overall analysis was that the motor engages well with the pedaler. It does it at consistent speeds within each PAS level, and we never felt like this bike really wanted to bolt ahead of us suddenly, with the exception of PAS 5 when it was in the Class 3 setting. Now, two of the most common questions we get here at the Electric Bike Report about a specific e-bike is, how far does it go? And how well does it do on the hills? I'll cover the hill climbing question in a few minutes and talk now about the bike's battery range. Now, to determine how far an e-bike can go using power from the battery, we performed two separate range tests. In the first test, we used the lowest pedal assistance setting, in this case PAS1, and that helps us establish a real world value on how far this e-bike will take you with minimal power assistance. In our second range test, we used the highest pedal assistance setting, PAS5, to help us see how far this e-bike will go when we are using the maximum power output. The folks at Troxus told us the Lynx should go up to 60 miles on a single charge, and we were quite satisfied with our 65-mile result when we did this test in PAS1. Riding at PAS5 on the second test, this bike went just under 26 miles before the battery powered down. That's a respectable distance, especially when you consider this bike had to climb 1,450 feet in elevation from the starting point. So one thing we can assume here is that if this test was done on a flat track, a flat trail, probably the range would have been probably a little bit closer to the 30 miles that Troxus said it should go for this test. We like to have our bikes travel to higher elevations in our range test because most riders don't ride on flat ground the whole time. So either way, we're satisfied with the range test results on this bike, and I think you will be too. Okay, now back to the other common question we get here at Electric Bike Report about e-bikes. How well does this bike do on hills? We were curious to see how well this bike, the Lynx, would do with its 750 watt motor in climbing the steeper hills, and eager to see how it would do on our hill climb test. Now, our hill climb test really pushes test bikes to their limits, and we use one of the highest hills around, Utah's own Hellhole Trail. This trail is 1/3 of a mile long, has an average grade of 12%, and is probably longer and steeper than any hill that's regularly faced by you, the average commuter. But this test really helps us answer the question about an e-bike's climbing ability. We do this test in two parts. The first is using throttle only, no pedaling. And the second involves basic pedaling while using the highest PAS level, which in this case is PAS level 5. Now on the throttle only test, time was 1:23, average speed 13.1 miles per hour. And in the pedaling test at PAS5, the time was 1:11 and average speed 15.3 miles per hour. You see the results on the screen. These results are impressive, not only because it's a small frame bike with 20-inch wheels, but also because this bike weighs 76 pounds. Now, helping it perform well, like I mentioned before, is that 750 watt motor, which kicks out 80 Newton meters of torque, and torque is what you need climbing hills. Also keep in mind that climbing hills like this is going to eat up your battery charge quicker and shorten your range. But this little e-bike proved it can really move, and we were really happy with the performance on the hill test. Overall, we found that the Troxus Lynx is a good multi-purpose fat tire e-bike. It looks cool, it rides nice, and it's easy to control. We had a lot of fun testing this bike, and I think you can have a lot of fun riding it too. The Bafang 750 watt motor delivers on power and consistent engagement with the rider's pedaling. Packs a real punch at PAS5, whizzing you up to 28 miles per hour as a Class 3 e-bike. The range of over 60 miles is a real plus for a fat tire bike too. Matched with the cargo carrying capability, you can get a lot of shopping done in one ride with this e-bike. Now, we would like to see Troxus use a smaller rear cog and or a larger chain ring on this bike to eliminate the ghost pedaling we experienced in PAS5 at the higher speeds. You'll also want to remember that the suspension is limited to doing just basic off-road riding. This isn't a mountain bike, so try to stick to just easy trails. Again, one of the high points was seeing Troxus offer this bike with an adjustable saddle, so we can adjust it the height that we need and have comfortable pedaling. Too many e-bikes in this style have non-adjustable seats, which can really place a limit on the rider height of who can have fun pedaling on this bike, but not with this bike. That's a big reason why all of us on our team, from the short riders to the tall ones, had a great time on this bike. So if you're getting this bike to share with your family, then you can all probably set the seat height to meet your needs and have a great time. So hopefully you found this video helpful in detailing the key parts of the Troxus Lynx and that it helped you decide if this e-bike is the right bike for you. Thanks for watching and our review. I hope you found this review helpful. If so, please click like. If you're not currently a subscriber to our channel, then please subscribe. It really helps us to get the word out to others about our e-bikes. And to check out current pricing for this e-bike, there's a check best price link to the click that you can click below. Also be sure to click the link to our in-depth written review. It has details I mentioned today, plus a lot of other important stuff. So that's it for now. I'm Forrest Woolman with the Electric Bike Report. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you out there on the bike trails. And please remember, keep your hands on the bar, your feet on the pedals, and your eyes on the road. And I'll see you next time here on the Electric Bike Report.